UW La Crosse political analyst Anthony Chergosky is with us tonight to provide a little bit of perspective surrounding tonight's election. And Anthony, as always, it's good to see you. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Dave.
Well, one primary issue we've heard a lot about is that it may take some time to find out the winners. Can you tell me about that? Why is that an issue?
Patience is so important tonight, Dave. Understandably, people want to know who won the election, but in Wisconsin, it could take a while. In fact, it could take until 2, 3 a.m., maybe even after that. And that is because of the significant amount of early voting and absentee ballots. In Wisconsin, clerks cannot process those ballots prior to Election Day. And voters seem to want to vote absentee. Seems to be a habit that people picked up coming out of the pandemic. So patience, patience, patience.
And let's talk about that a little bit. The other effect of early voting, other than it may take a little bit longer because you can't look at them early, what's the other effect of that early voting on an election?
It really affected the campaign because the parties wanted to get their supporters to vote early. If they can get their supporters to vote early, then they can cross that voter off the list, say, hey, we got this person's vote, and then they can turn their attention to other people who they want to turn out on Election Day. So the parties have strategically adapted to the significant amount of early voting that we see nowadays.
Now, this is also an issue since COVID, because you mentioned that period of time, and that's about election integrity. Wisconsin's record there, Anthony, is what?
It's outstanding. Wisconsin has numerous checks and balances in order to ensure election integrity, and people can go into this election with a lot of confidence. The local elections officials do a phenomenal job, and voters can feel good about their ballot being counted.
I'd like to ask you another question that is probably as old as time, and that's election spending. NPR, National Public Radio, reported over the weekend that spending on election ads is at $10.5 billion this year. That's up $1 billion from 4 years ago. Why so high? Why so much money for this?
The spending is enormous, and that is because we have had Supreme Court decisions that enable independent expenditures, these outside groups that can accept large donations. Plus, we have seen the small dollar revolution when it comes to the presidential candidates and other races. So you've got the big money going into the independent groups, and you've got a wave of small dollar money coming into the candidates. It all adds up to a lot of money being funneled into fewer and fewer states. Another big change is that the number of swing states is on the decline. So more and more money going into fewer and fewer states.
So the byword tonight, I guess, is some patience. Exercise some patience.
It's so important, Dave. It could take several hours, maybe even into Wednesday, in order to figure out who won the presidential election in Wisconsin. The polls show that this is going to be a close one.
So nice of you to come up here and talk with us. Thanks for that perspective, Anthony. Good to see you.
Thanks, Dave.